Freight broker versus truck and dispatcher.
The cons, the pros.
And what's the difference? That's the biggest topic of the day.
All right. The bottom line is trucking dispatcher is better than freight broker.
Good video. All right. Let's talk about why this is.
All right. Based on the conversations with multiple brokers, sitting through some interviews with freight brokers actually moving to this side of the fence, to trucking dispatching, I came to one main observation. If you're a freight broker, you ain't got nothing. So let me explain. When you're a freight broker, you ain't got nothing because you are competing with other brokers for a freight. So you don't even have freight a lot of times. You're just bidding on it. While at the same time, you don't even have a truck for it yet.
Right.
And a lot of times, you will win a bid on the freight. But now you have a problem number two, you don't have a truck. Now you have to be searching for a truck.
Right.
So that's, you ain't got nothing.
Which kind of highlights why the C.H. Robinsons, the TQLs, the Blue Graces, the Red in Our Backyard of the world can hire right out of college because there is no experience and just come on in because there's nothing really to lose, so to speak.
But there's nothing tangible.
There's nothing tangible is a better, you said it better. But in the trucking world, you mess around and leave a guy stranded with no load, guess what?
You lost a truck.
You just lost an owner-operator.
And you lost him for good, and, you probably gained an enemy.
And a bad review.
And a bad review, yes. So I think on this side of the fence, and I've seen a lot of freight brokers that got hired here, very, very excited about, man, I'm just tired of pushing air around because, you do all this work and at the end of the day, a lot of times you work with nothing. And the idea that, are you telling me that I'm going to have a fleet of trucks assigned to me and nobody can touch those trucks but me, and I have to, as long as I take care of them and keep them busy, I'm going to make this much and much money. That sounds, a lot of times that sounds a really good deal to them.
Yeah, because even on the broker side, as you're building what they call your book of business, let's say you found that one good person, that book of business, who's it really being managed by, you, or is it being managed by your supervisor, and that it's absorbed with somebody who has who has better relationships already? So I'm not saying it's impossible. I just think that, you start as a trucking dispatch, your book of business is the drivers you have. Those guys are already on your board day one. It's a tangible, like, go get that load or go get the other. And I think those brokers do very well on this side of the fence because they know the inner workings. They know how much is in a load typically, right?
Absolutely. And I think, generally speaking, at the end of the day, the freight is abandoned. There is a lot of freight out there.
Yeah.
All you can pull. So the freight is never a problem if you're a broker or a trucking company dispatcher. However, connecting the non-existent freight that you didn't even win yet to non-existent trucks that you don't have no agreement with.
Your potential freight to your potential truck.
Yes, and now you're trying to connect those two potential things together, and we don't always connect.
Right.
And that's how sometimes you'll burn a customer like this. Sometimes you're going to cause all kinds of problems. But again, for a brokerage, it's a lot more forgiving, I would say, because if you have your truck, you got to cover that guy, and you have to keep him busy and happy.
Yes.
And then your book of business is right there because that guy is making you money. So as long as you please that guy, don't, obviously, good business practice, don't burn no brokers. Everything has to have a standard.
Yeah, and then, so we've seen the broker come in-house and be successful at being a trucking dispatcher. What's your opinion the other way around? Do you think a trucking dispatcher can go to the broker side and be extremely successful?
I think we would probably. Here's the problem. I think trucking dispatcher will kick brokers' butt all day, every day, no problem. I think to be a trucking dispatcher, broker, dispatcher, that's how it sounds. But in reality, that's the other way around. In the capacity and ability to do business, to do things, to connect dots, I think dispatcher is actually a lot more intellectual work.
And there's more to lose right away.
Absolutely, because as a broker, you can, a lot of broker firms, we hire a kid straight from the college.
Yeah.
That kid knows nothing about no trucking. He is placed in front of a computer.
Pounding phone numbers
left and right and soliciting the cheap freight. all day long, can't sell nothing, and some old timers behind his back laughing at him. That poor soul is trying to sell this low dollar a mile out of Chicago.
Yeah, yeah. And the minute he finds that, someone's like, "Hey, we'll take that real quick."
Yeah, but as a trucking dispatcher, you got to be effective every time with very little mistakes. So that's why I think trucking dispatcher, if you go from trucking dispatcher to the brokerage, I think the requirements of entry is a little bit higher into the brokerage, because a lot of times we will require a couple years of a college degree at least.
Yeah, but they also do personality testing, because at the end of the day, it's going to take a certain character that's outgoing. Very similar, the qualities that you need in a good trucking dispatcher, very similar to a broker, someone who does not give up, because pounding those phones, longevity, you need the guy that's going to come back every day to keep pounding phones with no results immediately is a certain character.
It's a certain character, but again, at the same time, the results immediately, you're so much more likely to get it in the trucking dispatch. Because as soon as you get truck one, that's it. There is no going back, because that truck has to be covered, that truck has to be making money, and you're responsible for it.
Yeah.
So I think those are probably the main differences. So what's a conclusion? Trucking dispatcher rocks?
It does. It rocks, man. That's what it is. And hey, at the very least, right, it shifts. It was a broker's market for a while. It's
our turn now.
It's our turn, so come on over to the dark side, if you will.
Absolutely. The place where you can really make real money and actually start creating the real results.
Real money based off your effort and building off of what you're giving. So you got to do the work. If you can do the work and you're going to do it, definitely give us a call, 863-342-5171. Again, this is for the guys working at that TQL, CH Robinsons, and Blue Graces, and hey, you just want to explore a different opportunity and get some more information, definitely give us a call. Once again, they'll put the number below, but 863-342-5171.
And if you know somebody who works for any of those brokerage companies and still kind of broke, hey, share that video with them. We're going to thank you later.
All right, guys. So that's the video of the day. Please drive safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. We're back, and we're sorry.
Yeah. Formally apologize to Blue Grace, CH Robinson, and TQL.
Yes. Please take us off a do not load list. We will not do this again. All right, guys.